Hello, everybody, and welcome to the January community call for Alloy. So, for the past few, we've changed the format a bit from kind of a more rigid, we present something and then talk about it, to more of just a Q&A or talk about things. So, yep, we will start off with just opening up if anybody has any questions, comments, just want to chat about something. We got a fair amount of Grafana people on here and more than happy to answer any questions. You can raise your hand, you can type them in chat, whatever you need to do to ask your question. So we'll open up the floor. If not, I can add a little filler here unless anybody thinks of anything.
I had a question regarding the remote configuration. It's in public preview. How's that going so far? Because it looks like something we might be interested in.
Absolutely. We don't have anyone from the fleet management team here, but we're adjacent enough. I can probably give a good overview. It's going really well. I know we're starting to stress test it with like over thousands of Alloy instances connecting for a single tenant, and kind of working out, making sure that we're not hitting any issues there. I'm not exactly sure when they're looking to GA it. My guess is they're going to want some more data incoming. If I was to make an educated semi-guess, I bet it would align somewhere around like an ops count. That's just my bet. But that depends entirely on how the GA goes. So right now it seems to be pretty stable. We have a lot of people using it. Is it not being GA a blocker, or are you just wanting to be ensured that it's stable?
It's not a blocker. I just noticed it for the first time. I kind of tried Grafana Engine out a while ago, and now we're pivoting to trying Grafana Alloy. And when I pulled up the localhost 12345, I was like, what is that? And then started researching, and I thought, oh, that's pretty slick. Fleet management, very cool. And then I saw that it was in public preview, so I was just curious.
Yep. If you're interested in trying it, you can reach out through customer support. It's only available for Grafana Cloud, so it's not an OSS feature inherently what we're offering. The protocols and specs are open APIs, but of course, they're not necessarily. We don't have a reference server. Although I think someone is working, like an external contributor might be working on that. But yeah, if you're a Grafana Cloud user, reach out to customer support. I think we'd be more than happy to probably throw you in if you want to try it out. And it's, like you can try it out. If it doesn't work, you can always revert to the old configuration.
Cool, thank you.
Cool. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to chat about?
I would have a potential maybe filler topic while others think of questions that they may have. Do we want to talk at all about the upcoming 1.6 release? Any of the goodies that might be coming, or rough timeline for release?
Yeah, since I'm the shepherd of that, which is kind of important since I'm the one doing all the socket, but I am the shepherd for this release. Yeah, we're shooting for, so timeline wise, we're shooting for next week. I got pulled into some other stuff, and I'm hoping to have a draft ready on Friday, but I don't like releasing new versions of software on Friday, especially when I might be on call. I haven't looked, but I'd rather not. So we're shooting for Monday or Tuesday. As far as, it's a pretty big one, I think, because of this, I don't know, felt like a lot of stuff is in this one. I think some of the big things are around performance. Obviously updating the open telemetry. Yeah, Fridays are read only. That is a good statement. One that was a pretty big change is adding the auth to just a ton of open telemetry components. I think there was an outside contribution, so that was great. Apologies, I don't remember who did it offhand. I could probably look at the change log here. But that was a pretty big PR, and it's pretty cool. We have some experimental stuff. I have a different wall that I wrote that's in very, very, very experimental. Don't use it unless you really want to, or use it in dev. Don't use it in prod. But if anyone does use it, I would love to hear feedback. William, Sam, anything that's kind of big that you can think of that we had in here? Oh, support bundles. Sam, what's
Yeah,
about that?
Yeah, support bundles were public preview in 1.5.1 or maybe 1.5, and now GA in 1.6. But basically, just a great way if you have a support case, an issue coming up for gathering a lot of useful data. It gathers logs for about 60 seconds. It gathers, a variety of different configuration information, environment variables, and then also some profiles with pprof. So just a nice little bundle of, hey, we've got an issue. Here's just everything that you might need to start with that support ticket, or with a GitHub issue or anything like that. So yeah, good documentation for it's out there. Pretty straightforward to use. So yeah, if you see anything that you think would be a great addition to that, I know William at some point wants to get some live debugging added to that bundle, but yeah, should be a good starting point for anybody who's running into an issue and wants some support. Another thing in 1.6 that I worked on, I know Matt mentioned open telemetry components. We had a couple of requests from different customers for basically different syslog support, where maybe they want to send a lot of their information to Loki, but they want to, replicate some of their messages via syslog to a security system, a SIM. And so we pulled in the open telemetry receiver and exporter for syslog. There wasn't a great pattern to use the Loki syslog receiver, or Loki, sorry, syslog source, to then the open telemetry syslog exporter because of the different way they handle labeling logs with the syslog information. So this allows just kind of pure proxying of syslog messages, and then in your pipeline between, you figure out how to shunt off these ones I want them going to Loki and process this way. These ones I just want them just proxied straight to our security solution. So we had a couple different requests for that. So hopefully that's useful for somebody.
Speaking of live debugging, William, I think we had quite a few changes even from some external contributors. You want to go over those real quick?
Yeah, sure. So we're developing live debugging a bit more because now it's GA and it seems like very valuable to troubleshoot the alloy collector. So we're extending it to more components. So I think with 1.6, it will be extended to all the discovery components, and we're currently working on adding it for Prometheus scrape and remote write. And there is a new feature coming, maybe based on the live debugging, which will be a live debugging graph. So you see in the UI currently, you have just like a basic static graph, but we're also working on a graph where you see actually the data like moving through your pipeline. So you see a bit more what your collector is doing. So that's why in this one, there is a bit more of live debugging coming. And another hotel receiver is added also. It's the Solace one. So if you're using Solace, then you can get now using this hotel receiver some telemetry data from it.
If I don't know what live debugging is, can you give me like a little description of maybe what it is? and how it's enabled?
Yeah, sure. So live debugging allows you to like peek into your component and see the data that's passing through. Like, so that you see the data after it's been processed by the component. So it's disabled by default, but to enable it, you just need to add in your config a little live debugging block with the argument enabled set to true. And then you can simply go to the Alloy UI, so localhost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from there, you can click on the components that you want to debug. And on the component detail page, you will have a little button if it's available for this component, which is live debugging. And once you click, then you receive a live feed of the data that's passing through and being processed by this component. So for most of the components, you will see just a text format of metrics, logs, or traces. And for some specific components, for example, like the relabel, Prometheus relabel component, you will see the set of labels before the processing and the set of label after the processing. This is very useful for these kind of components because it's not always trivial to set this relabeling rule. Same thing for hotel with the transform. So it's very useful to see it before and after and make sure that it's doing what you want. Live debugging is currently experimental. Do you know when that will be GA? Yeah, I think it's. So I thought it was already, but maybe it's with 1.6. I have to check the change log.
1.6, at least according to the change log.
Oh, okay. Then it comes with this the release planned for Monday. Will live debugging show details for OTLP exporters? Yeah. So currently we don't really have it on components that are like at the end of the pipeline. But I think we will add it because also we might want to add it in the live graph. But it's a little bit different because like for other components that are like part of the pipeline, then we can really get the data after when it exits the components. Whereas here, it's we have to see what kind of data we put. So whether we just put the data that will be sent, or we put maybe a little bit more information about whether the send was successful. So only the data that made it, for example, I don't know yet.
Cool. Yeah, kind of looking over the features. That seems to be kind of some of the marquee ones. Unless anyone has a specific feature they want to talk about. Do we have any more questions or other topics? All right. If no one has anything else, we'll call it early. And I appreciate everybody showing up, asking some questions, and we'll see you all in about a month.
Ciao, bye-bye.
Bye,
See
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.